Hey y'all, it's Brandy and welcome back to the Antisocials Library. I wanted to take some time to go over some of my anticipated releases for the second half of the year. And I think I'm going to do this in two separate parts. I think I'm going to have one video be nothing but horror, which we'll do now, and then the other genres in another video, because when I was making this list, I realized I have a lot of horror that I'm anticipating for the second half of the year, so I don't want to be here for forever. So I'm going to split it into two. This first video will be for us horror girlies for the new horror releases for the end of 2026. And then the next video, which will be coming next, will be the rest of the genres: fantasy, romantasy, regular fiction, historical fiction, mystery, and thriller. Okay? Okay. I think I have them in order as much as humanly possible, and I don't know everything about each of these books. I just know that either the cover brought me in, the premise brought me in, or the hype around it brought me in, and I just wanted to share them with you. So let's start with the first one. On August 4th, we have Meat Bees, and this cover is extraordinary. This cover, oh my god, I will be buying this book solely for the cover at this point. It's being pitched as Jaws, but with wasps. I have a fear of anything that can fly. I don't like things that can fly. I think they're too quick and they are not predictable enough. But this is by Dane Erbach. This is set in the Smoky Mountains, which is really interesting to me because I live in the Smoky Mountains. So that is another reason why I'm interested in this one. But it says, by the time Scarlett Sutton arrives at her dad's cabin in the Smoky Mountains, two locals have already been eaten alive by wasps. Of course, she doesn't know this yet. All Scarlett knows is her mom finally checked herself into a hospital to take care of her mental health, leaving Scarlett alone with her dad all summer. After he insists that she get a job, Scarlett accepts the position at a nearby stovetop outfitters, hoping to spend as much time away from him as possible. She doesn't expect to trip over a skeletonized corpse between the zip line during one of her shifts, and definitely doesn't expect to be thrown into a Netflix-style true crime investigation. Could be good. Nah. I actually am not super invested in that premise, but honestly, the cover, this will be a cover buy, and I will just hope for the best. This next one is a horror fantasy sci-fi. It's A Plague to Sea by Kim Bo-young. So this has actually been released several years ago now, but it is being translated from Korean to English this year. So this is a new release in that sense. But it says it's a Lovecraftian nightmare of infection, transformation, and abomination. So this one sounds pretty awful because the entire premise stems around a massive earthquake on the east coast of Korea. And I guess this earthquake unleashed an ancient plague that transforms its victims into fishy monsters, and the government's lockdown has cut off any hope for help. Yikes. You know, that sounds pretty miserable. So, but I'm intrigued. Next, on August 11th, we have Reliquary by Hannah Witten. This one is a recent ad for me. I genuinely think it has potential, to be honest, but the premise, it's 50-50. It's gothic, so there is that. And you know I love a gothic story. But basically, you're following Claire, and Claire's fiance mysteriously dies of an unknown neurological illness. So she's like, okay, great. What now? You know? Well, she kind of expected to be left alone for the rest of her life anyway, because she was orphaned at a young age, and she thought that her being in love with this man was too good to be true to begin with. But his family reaches out to her. They invite her to the wake of her fiancé at their family home on a private island. And we can all just use our imagination of what awfulness will occur from there, you know? Okay, so this one is one that I'm actually excited for. I'm going to be pre-ordering it or picking it up as soon as it releases, but it is Stay Buried by Jennifer McMahon. I read and loved The Winter People by Jennifer McMahon and The Drowning Kind. I didn't love The Drowning Kind as much, but I did really like The Winter People. And this premise just like really speaks to me. And also the cover is absolutely stunning. So there is that. But it says some towns stay isolated for a reason. And in this one, we are following 2 different timelines, which I love a dual timeline as well. So there is that. That gets me very excited. But in one timeline, it is 1919. And in another one, it is 2016. In the 2016 timeline, a couple of siblings inherit property in Boone's Ferry, which is a place they've heard of, but their grandmother has always refused to talk about, and they embark on a trip to their ancestral home. So I'm assuming we're going to get the lore from the 1919 timeline and the horror in the 2016 timeline. I'm sorry, that sounds incredible. Then we have And the Sea Gave Up the Dead, which is set to release on August 18th. And this one, honestly, the only reason that I added it to this list is because it says, for fans of Jennifer Thorne's Diavola, and We Have Always Lived in the Castle. While I've not read We've Always Lived in the Castle, I am currently, right now, in the middle of reading Diavola by Jennifer Thorne, and I love it. I love it. It's so good. So if you give me a comp book of Jennifer Thorne's Diavola, and I love the cover. I think it's stunning. But Morena knows she needs to visit Bethan. Her aunt is wasting away in the family's crumbling chateau by the French seaside, where she's lived alone since the mysterious disappearance of her husband. The locals claim Bethan is responsible, though Morena knows her aunt simply declining and in desperate need of company. Grief lives in that house, and Morena has avoided it for years, until a disturbing phone call from Barbara finally pushes her to act. So she packs up her children and new partner to stay for a week. It is giving very Diavola vibes, and I love a chateau setting. It says, but grief, mystery, and something undead haunts her family, and soon a dark history will repeat itself. Count me in. Still in August, we have The Devil Knows Her Name that comes out on August 25th. And this one, I think, leans a little bit more on the thriller side, but it is tagged as horror as the first genre. But again, this is in the Appalachian Mountains, which, again, really interests me. Tess Wayne lives in precious quiet. Having been left for dead a century earlier, Tess made a deal with the devil to stay in the only home she's known. Tending to her wildlife sanctuary, she keeps the land and its people safe, pulling on spidering threads of ancient magic, trying to preserve the balance of nature against the encroaching ravages of human influence. But every autumn, the devil returns, offering Tess more power in exchange for a foothold in the human world, and every autumn Tess refuses. As Tess prepares for her wildlife sanctuary for the winter, an unexpected addition to Bursville catches the locals' attention. Freshly arrived Zeke Abdi, the town's new pastor, begins to sinisterly mold the townspeople to his will. With everyone slowly turning on Tess, Pastor Zeke is determined to stake his claim on the very land where Tess keeps her sanctuary. Okay, this is giving Brom. This is giving Slewfoot vibes. And I'm actually really, really here for it. If it leans towards Slewfoot, I think that this could be an incredible novel. Okay, we moved on to September. We made it out of August. For September 1st, we have Blacktail by Scott Hawkins. This one, again, was a cover pick for me, but also the premise just sounds really unique. It says a wolf sets out on an epic journey of revenge in this one-of-a-kind dark fantasy, the long-awaited second novel from the author of Library at Mouchar. I guess the wolf is named Blacktail, right? And he is faithful to his forest god. His livelihood and his home in the forest is being besieged by men, and his territory will soon be overrun. So because he has nowhere else to go, it looks like his mate, a house dog, was killed. And Blacktail, this was the final straw for Blacktail, and he rebels. He invades the house of her owners, seeking vengeance. A vengeful wolf that worships a forest god. I think there's a lot of good opportunity for commentary on like deforestation and stuff. On September 8th, We Turn Gruesome at Night by Eric LaRocca comes out. This is the Burnt Sparrow number 2. I think the first one is, yes, We Are Always Tender with Our Dead. I've yet to read an Eric LaRocca. This is more so to keep it on other people's radar. It's on my radar. I do want to get into Eric LaRocca, but I just haven't yet. I do have Wretch on my TBR, and I'm hoping to get to it very, very, very soon. And I'm hoping that it gives me everything that I want, and then I can dive into Eric LaRocca because I do think I'm really gonna like it. This is the second book in that trilogy of horror that was released, and I know that it's queer and it is supposed to be horrifying and set in a small New England town. Just so you know. It's not necessarily on my radar, but now it's on yours. You know what I mean? On September 8th as well, we have Pictures of You by Josh Malerman. And I love Josh Malerman. I didn't love Bird Box enough to like read Mallory or anything, but Incidents Around the House is a perfect novel to me. It was so, so good. So this one says, a woman becomes the unknowing subject of an artist's dangerous work in this intense Hitchcockian thriller from the New York Times bestselling author of Incidents Around the House. It says, Pictures of You is a tale of thrilling terror that will chill you until the last page and have you thinking of the heroine's search for love and the meaning of art long after. I don't exactly know what it means for the artist to... or for her to be a subject of an artist's dangerous work. I don't really want to know that much more going into it, to be honest with you. I think I'm just going to jump into it. I am not loving the fact that it has a 3.06 average rating right now, but we'll see. Next, also on September 8th, we have Kiss Slay Replay by Rachel Harrison. This is the same author as Play Nice and So Thirsty. This one, you are set at a wedding and our main character is struggling with the fact that her ex-fiance is now at this wedding with a new date, and so she meets someone new and they sneak off to do like a little rendezvous, and in the middle of the reception there is a masked killer that comes in and starts killing people. But then when the night is over and everything, she wakes up and it is Groundhog Day and she relives the day again. It says, she must learn how to escape or else suffer a fate worse than death, being an eternal wedding guest. I think it's going to be funny and horrifying, and I thoroughly loved her other novels, so I will definitely read this one. Also on September 8th, we have She's a Doll by Barbara Truelove. This one, I'm gonna see what other people are saying. So far, it's having decent reviews, but this one is interesting. It says, Lucy isn't a normal girl, ghost, victim, killer. She's a doll on a mission to find the man who killed her and return the favor. So she was murdered, and because she wasn't done, being a girl, just being a girl, she possesses a doll, and then in the possessed doll is seeking revenge for the man that killed her. And it has so much potential, but again, I'm gonna kind of see what the vibe is before I go out and buy it, And then September 22nd, we have Our Cut of Salt by Dina Helm. I am really anticipating this one. It is a debut novel. I honestly love when debut novels get covers like this. I think they're stunning. Both this one and the UK cover are absolutely phenomenal. And I just think that really good for you, Dina Helm, But this is a haunted house story. That's really all I know. I know it's Palestinian and that it is following an ancestral home. So that's really all I needed. That's really all I need to know. So just know that I will be reading that one. That one for sure I will be reading. Okay, and then on September 29th, we have Nightjars by Michael Wehunt. This says it's Memento meets Dracula in this heart-thudding, unpredictable, and beautifully crafted novel of a man exposed for crimes he doesn't remember committing and the monsters that dwell at the heart of us all from celebrated and critically acclaimed author Michael Wehunt. That's it. That's all I need to know. That's all I'm gonna know. That's it. That's all you're gonna get from me. I'm sorry. And also, I love the cover. I think it looks really fun. But yeah, he gets accused of crimes he doesn't remember committing, and it is Memento meets Dracula. Both things I love. So we will be reading. Okay, you know how earlier I was talking about Diavola from Jennifer Thorne? Well, in September 29th to be precise, we will have Newborn Park by Jennifer Thorne, and this is a darkly funny, blood-soaked horror novel about this terrifying seduction of unlimited power, which was really hard for me to say. It says, after years of caring for her dying mother, Martha Shaw feels empty, exhausted, and far older than her 26 years. So when her brother invites her to a weekend getaway at the opulent 200-acre country estate where his friend works, Martha reluctantly agrees. After all, what's the harm? The owners and all their staff will be gone, security cameras will be off, the house will be theirs. For the first time in years, Martha might actually have fun. And it is fun, taking advantage of the historic mega mansion and its vast grounds. Martha begins to feel human again, but when night falls, the rightful master of Newborn Park returns, and she's not alone, suddenly being caught trespassing in the least of their worries, because what steps out onto the moonlight is something vicious and hungry. Oh, please be a werewolf novel. Please be a werewolf novel. It just sounds so good. Will be reading. Next, also on September 29th, we have Tradwife by Sarah Langan. I'm sure I don't need to go into this one as much as I am the other ones. This is a really anticipated release by Sarah Langdon. This is a tale of a journalist as she descends into horror. She basically goes to interview this family of this Tradwife and this home. And when she is there doing this interview, basically the Tradwife is like, please don't leave. Please stay. Please save me. Anyway, would you like some more lemonade? And our main character, our journalist, is like, okay, sure, I'll stay. Which, why would you do that? But anyway, she needs it for her journalism career or something like that. But it says, there is a horror at the heart of Black Swan just waiting just for Jenny. Tradwife will make you question what's real and what's perfectly curated deception. I know that it's already out in the UK. It doesn't come out stateside until September. So far, it's at 600 ratings, 3.75 stars. Honestly, I'll see where it's at before I decide if I'm going to pick it up or not. You know, the closer it gets to that release date over here. And I have a novella here that comes out October 6th called Find Me Where It Ends. This one sounds really interesting to me. It is following a woman. Essentially, death has come to her house to confront her, and it is in the form of a black hound dog, and she recognizes that this is death, and instead of being fearful, she lets him inside. And it says it's horror, a novella, adult, and queer. This one comes out October 6th. It's The House Built on Alligator Bones. So this one, again, is following our main character when her mother suddenly passes away, as with most horror premises. And she ends up going to live with her long-lost, wealthy family relatives in Florida. And basically, there is this estate that she is from. She uncovers the truth about her violent birthright and accept her place in the family's grim legacy, or forge a new path by slaying a different beast entirely. I don't know what that means. I'm not gonna read the premise because I'm just gonna read the book. So I don't know what it is that makes me read a premise and what doesn't, but it's all vibes here, basically. Okay, also on October 6th, we have House Haunters by Casey Jones. This just sounds really fun to me, to be honest with you. It's the perfect thrill ride for fans of How to Sell a Haunted House and Play Nice. I love both of those novels, so I'm of course gonna at least give it a try, or at least put it on your radar. But it says a skeptical reality TV show producer and a misanthropic ghost hunter must team up to survive a shoot from hell. So haunted house story, love it. Documentary series, love it. It's kind of giving A Head Full of Ghosts a little bit too, with that documentary series thing aspect of it. But yeah, no, I'm in. It says, what should be a straightforward shoot quickly spirals into a nightmare, and Grace must confront some hard ghosts are real. And though callous and distant, Frank is their only hope of getting out alive. Dun dun dun. We have a couple more. I do want to talk about this one just a little bit for my other King fans out there, but Stephen King and Peter Straub are coming out with Other Worlds Than These, which is the third installment in the Talisman series. Will they ever stop? There's no telling. And you know what? They don't have to, because they're Stephen King and Peter Straub and they can do whatever they want. But just so you know, this is the third book in the Talisman series. I have yet to read the Talisman series, but this is a series that they started working on together, I believe, in the 90s. But it is set in another world. I think it's called Midworld. And it is a horror fantasy series. And I've heard really good things about it. The first one is The Talisman, and then Black House. And now this one is Other Worlds Than These. Okay, so then we have Quaint Folk. That comes out on August 6th as well. This is 100% a cover pick for me. I think it looks incredible. It says it's a queer folk horror novel that peels back the idyllic veneer of a seemingly perfect island town to reveal the rot beneath. From the outside, it looks like Jessica has the perfect life. She's a stay-at-home mom, married to a man with a respectable job, raising a son they adore. Her family is as wholesome as all-American pie. But deep down, Jessica knows there's something wrong with her. She knows she can't escape her past. When her husband's job has them move abroad, Jessica thinks this is her chance for a fresh start. On the remote island of Hansenhurst, the modern world can't get in. People there grow their own herbs, make their own jam, and mind their own business. They believe in folk tales and the power of dreams. They tell visitors, we're quaint, quiet people. The right sort of family would do well here. Sounds creepy and cult-like. I'm a fan. Next, on October 13th, we can look forward to Look What the Cat Dragged In by Jason Rekulak. This is the author of Hidden Pictures. I thoroughly enjoy Hidden Pictures. I know that some people go either way about it, but I honestly had a really good time with it. This one is a supernatural thriller about a young woman pet-sitting a cat with a mysterious secret. That just sounds really interesting to me. And apparently, just like Hidden Pictures, this book will have illustrations in it as well, and I'm sure they will be as creepy as we want them to be. As we are expecting them to be, you know. Penny may be a cat person, but she's starting to think Godfrey is no ordinary cat. Sounds fun. I'm in. This is one that I kind of want on my radar because I'm expecting to thoroughly enjoy The Only Good Indians. I just haven't gotten to it yet, but this is Off of the Reservation. Comes out October 13th. This is by Stephen Graham Jones. It is the second book in the Only Good Indians series. Is that what it is? I don't know much about this. I can't really go into it because I haven't read the first one, but he is coming off with the second one, and the cover is really cool. So there is that. We have a new Delilah S. Dawson, comes out October 13th, Monstera. This is, again, an author that I am dying to get to, but I haven't yet. She mostly writes like novellas and short stories. This is, I believe, another novella, but it says a reclusive woman moves into what seems like the perfect apartment and is obsessively drawn to her reclusive neighbor, who keeps a lush garden and is hiding a deadly secret. Eat the Ones You Love meets Wilder Girls in this sensational, sapphic, botanical horror novel from a New York Times bestselling author of Bloom. I'm in. That's it. That's all you need to say. Will I finally read a Delilah S. Dawson this year? I guess we will find out. On October 13th, we also have Rottenheart by Kat Dunn. I'm obsessed with this cover. I know nothing about this other than the fact that it is a sapphic, gothic story that is inspired by Hamlet. That's it. That's all I know. And the cover. That's it. Anyway, I'm gonna read it. On October 20th, we have Needlemouth by K-Ming Chang. This is an interesting one. I don't know how to feel about it, and I don't know how to summarize it, so we're just going to read it. But these three cousins get together, and they are staying in their grandmother's hauntingly familiar house. It says, Mandy, the eldest, seeks connection online and exchanges emails with a stranger. Yang Yang, the youngest, retreats into her own imagination in search of meaning. But every morning, Cindy wakes up with strange objects in her mouth. A button, a berry, a coin. One night, a starred figure with a mouth the size of a needle tip appears at Cindy's bedside. She is hunger-afflicted, a demon with no descendants to feed from. She is Needlemouth. Part vampire, part hungry ghost, Needlemouth forces the girls into grim tasks to end a man's life. Insanity. That sounds insane, but also like, sure, I'll read it. Then we have probably my most anticipated horror release of the entire year, and I have to wait until October 20th to get it, but it's Milk Teeth by Caitlin Starling. One, I'm obsessed with this cover, but what I'm more obsessed with is this cover. I love both of them. I love both of them so much. And I honestly don't know which one I like more. Now that I say that out loud, I don't know which one I like more. It already has pretty good reviews. This is following a vampire brood mother. So she is essentially raising fledgling baby vampires into their transformation into adult vampires. And that's it. I feel like the commentary on motherhood and the vampiric aspect about just literally sucking people dry, especially, I don't know, mothers. I think this is going to be incredible. This is my most anticipated horror release of the entire year. And I cannot wait until October 20th. Last one is we actually have on October 27th, we have Scorpion Deep by C.G. Drews. So C.G. Drews really be on it because they just came out with You Did Nothing Wrong earlier this year. And I guess this year as well, they're going to come out with Scorpion Deep. This one is young adult, going back a little bit to the young adult, but it is about a lonely boy who accidentally awakens an obsessive eldritch sea god. Okay, wait, that sounds so good. The ritual works, Scorpion Deep awakens, and despite his terror, Jonathan can't feel but drawn towards the ageless entity that seems just as mutually obsessed with him. As scales start growing down his spine and Scorpion Deep's adoration turns bloody, Jonathan realizes the only way to end the nightmare is to destroy the monster one way or another. That sounds so good. Will be reading. Absolutely will be reading. Love the cover. C.G. Drews, cover artist, never freaking miss. Don't Let the Forest In, Hazelthorn, and You Did Nothing Wrong, all impeccable, but this, stunning. Stunning. Anyway, those are the horror new releases coming up to the end of the year that I could find that I was interested in. Please let me know down below if you plan on reading any of these, or if you can hear my cats, I'm sorry, they're fighting. Please let me know down below if you plan on reading any of these or what some of your most anticipated horror releases are, because if I've missed any, I need to know. I need you. I'm counting on you. Please let me know. And like I said, I will be coming out with a part 2 of this video. It will look just like this, but instead of horror, I'll be talking about all of the other genres, so stay tuned for that. But if you have nothing else to say other than the new releases, go down below and leave something under the sea. Either an ocean or a scorpion for Scorpion Deep by C.G. Drews, because that cover deserves it. You know what I mean? And while you're down there, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and you can hit that little notification bell so you get notified the next time that I post. I really do appreciate all the support and all of the conversations that we have on my posts. It makes me so happy to be able to talk with you all, so I really appreciate it. But just remember to read well and rest well, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.